everyone, and welcome to From Waterloo to the Alamo. I'm your host, Traci Wilson, and I am here today with Robert Coaz, and he is the founder of SmartTouch Interactive. Robert, we're really grateful for you to be on the podcast today. Your product is very, very, instrumental, I would say, for the real estate industry, and I'm excited for people to learn a little bit more about it. But first, I kind of want you to give us your background, kind of where you grew up, where you came from, college, and how you kind of migrated to the Austin area.
Well, yes. Thank you, Traci, for having me today on your show. I am originally from Panama City, Panama. I moved here my senior year and went to Westwood High School. I graduated from there and played college baseball at Hill Junior College and St. Edward's University, where I met my wife that I've been married to for 25 years. At St. Edward's University.
Very cool, yes.
Yeah,
and you have kids, right?
I have one child, and he actually is going to Westwood High School, playing baseball there this year as well.
Oh my goodness. And is he a freshman?
He is a junior.
A junior. Okay, yes. Cool. And is he wearing your same number?
He's number 7.
Oh my God. That is a great number. You know, I keep my son, he just turned 6, but he is getting his jerseys for soccer and football. And each year we're like, buddy, what number do you want to be? He's like, I want to be 84. I want to be 22. And I'm like, why don't you be the number 7? That's God's number. That's a holy number. Be 7. It's one of the best numbers. So I love that that was your
A number is an inspiration. You got to think about the number.
Yeah.
Why? Is it a relative? Mm-hmm. Is it a lucky number? For me, I was born on September 7th.
Oh, see, there you go. See, that's good. See, I got him to commit he was born on November 18th. So I got him to commit to the number 18 for his jerseys. But that is so cool. I feel like that's such a full circle story. Okay, so you graduated, you got married, but then tell me kind of your progression before leading up to founding SmartTouch.
Yeah, well, actually, I'm going to have to dial it back for a moment because I was engaged to my wife. And everybody knows the infamous cucaracha story, in which she decided to end the engagement that we had because I had a dream that cucaracha was on me, and she woke me up and decided at the time we were just quite ready. You know, in life, sometimes you're not quite ready when you're in your early 20s. Mm-hmm. And so I moved to Panama, went to work for the largest bank, went to move back with my parents. And about 2.5 years after being down there, we start at the time, it was the first chatting program. So I'm going to date myself for this, but it was ICQ. Mm-hmm. ICQ, Kiki. It was a little bird.
Oh my goodness.
And so her and I started chatting, and then we got back together. It's like she was working for DHI Mortgage, which is D.R. Horton's mortgage company at the time. And had already a launch to a very successful career. I was working for Panama's largest bank. However, as a junior bank exec, the salaries compared to what you could make here in the United States to Latin America is quite different.
Very different.
And so it was a no-brainer. We decided that it was the right time, and I got married. I came back to the States. I went to go work for a company that today is Q-Up, and I got into banking technology, because I had a banking background. And then through there, I met some partners, and I started a company with some partners, some ex-NFL players. Today, one of them is Novak Brothers, which has a development company here in Austin, Texas, in Georgetown, and it happens to be one of our clients. And so we started that company after 8 years. We were getting into about to hit the recession, 2008, 2009 election, and the market was tanking.
Awful. So bad.
But at the time, I had already enabled the same technology, same concepts that we're doing today. Mm-hmm. I was enabling measurement of digital marketing as well as print to web, and assessing the results to optimize the performance.
Right.
And so we were already doing that in the middle of the 2000s.
Yeah.
And so I knew that with the change in, administration, it was, I think, the Obama administration at the time, they brought in I think it was a housing tax credit. an incentive at the time. I think it was $7,500 that kind of started getting things back up. But there was a lot of broken deals. And I knew that, like, hey, there's not going to be any new branding gigs, but there's going to be a lot of people that need to sell their stuff. And there's always going to be buyers. There's always. And so we needed to generate leads for these guys. So I left the company and I started SmartTouch with a partner at the time. And it was off to the races. I had multiple clients that came with us. And then next thing you know, our concept was the same concept. It's technology-driven marketing focused on builders and developers.
Right.
And unfortunately, the industry that we serve happens to be a little bit behind the times when it comes to adaptation of technology.
Yeah.
I mean, what we were doing at my last company for car dealerships, that's what we were doing 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And they're just now getting on to the adaptation of it. So we took off the company with that concept. And sometime around 2018, I was able to, my partner and I, he decided to take a different direction. And so I was able to buy him out. And today I own a company 100%. We have 65 plus clients. We are a full service marketing and advertising agency, the only ones that offer their own CRM and technology. And so what that means to a potential client is that typically you have to go out and source a vendor for technology, a vendor for the website, a vendor for creative, a vendor for branding. And my company does the whole thing.
The whole thing. So that's why for like, if you're going to start a new home community and you need to come up with a name for the community and the logo and this, you're saying you guys will help start to finish.
Correct. We help you name it, name the streets, the concept, put the idea to paper, like the brand pillars, the story that we're going to go to market. As a matter of fact, I was given an opportunity to speak this coming year at the International Builders Show.
Awesome.
And one of the concepts that I have is called What's Your Hook? The Forgotten Art of Storytelling and New Home Marketing. Because that's really what today is going to separate and create equity for our builder and developer clients. Is really investing in the offer that they have. And what does that look like? What does that vision look like? So, yeah.
Hey, I'm Brandon Sparks with Nautilus Lending, based right here in Central Texas. We're a full-service mortgage operation and brokerage, serving Greater Texas as well as Florida and Tennessee. One of the greatest things about our shop is our ability to facilitate creative financing. What that means is that anything legally possible, we can get it funded. You want to find out more? Reach out to us, www.nautiluslending.com. That's www.nautiluslending.com.
So, I think for a lot of people, because I know that as a real estate company, anytime we do try to help developers, if they decide, listen, we're not going to hire on-site salespeople, we want to hire a real estate company to come in and do it, because at the end of the day, it might be a little bit more cost effective, because, we don't get paid until the builder gets paid, right? Until something closes. But I have seen it's a struggle from the beginning when you're starting from the ground up. They have the plot of land. They're going to develop 65, single family homes, getting the floor plans and then figuring out what you're going to name the community. So something like your program would be something that would be really beneficial, even if a real estate company that's helping rep a development, because we would be able to use your program, correct, to help try to figure out what, the logo is going to be, the color schemes, where to do the paid advertising, all of that, correct?
Yeah, companies like yours, like Engel and Volkers, they typically have a developer services division.
Yeah.
And they quite often partner with companies like ours.
Yeah.
So we, over the years, we've had multiple opportunities to work in different roles. But yeah, the ideal role for us is to help from idea to market. And so that's like helping to conceptualize what the offer is going to be, what the brand's going to look like, and then developing all of the assets that you need to go to market, and then driving the traffic, enabling the measurement of that traffic and the optimization of the results from soup to nuts. That's where we work. We go all the way until you guys at Engel and Volkers are writing up a contract.
That's very
right.
cool.
We help enable all of that, and consequently, like obviously collaborating through the process and working with your sales and professionals team as well.
Yeah. Well, what major trends have you seen? I know you said some of the same concepts y'all were using, X amount of years ago are still the same today. But what are some major like digital trends that you are seeing in the last, I don't know, let's say 3 or 4 years?
Well, I like to categorize them in 2 categories.
Okay.
There's content and then there's traffic generation.
Okay.
Right? When it comes to content, everybody knows like the sky's the limit. Right? We have all kinds of virtualization technology today that has become affordable. Right? Like we were talking about it with our clients 7 years ago because it existed.
Yeah.
But you're talking about 6-figure endeavors to virtualize a room like this. Today, you can virtualize a room like this for under 5 figures.
And it's crazy because the thing is that I see so many people, they can't visualize something, right? Like kind of veering off. But when you see a house, right? And someone's like, oh, I don't know. I can't envision what this house could look like remodeled. And then all of a sudden now you have a rendering, like you said, in, I don't know, a couple hours or a day or 24 hours, 48 hours. And the whole house is completely redone. And that's, change the paint color, change out the windows, change the shapes of the doors. It is crazy what that can do. And I feel like that makes such a difference because so many people don't have that vision or don't know who to call or whatnot. But technology has created that opportunity. So I'm sure you've seen technology just completely change the way real estate professionals connect to buyers as well. I'm sure. Right?
I mean, it's an expectation. Look, I mean, that's what all of us are on a day-to-day basis engaging with in all of our other experiences in shopping. So it is expected. So to me, like when you ask that question, like right now in the past, a website, I just throw up a website. No. Like this is the equivalent of a model home. Are you going to put like a secondhand couch in your premier model?
Yeah.
Heck nah. Right? So like, you've got to go with the top of the line. Like that is the first experience that people are going to judge you on.
Yep.
Right?
Impression.
So content, absolutely. There's the technology is affordable. There's been an assortment and like, I guess an onslaught of new vendors coming into the marketplace. So you got to shop it. But there is totally affordable. And you got to think about before you ever spend a penny to drive traffic to a website, what am I driving traffic to? What's my hook?
Right.
Right. So, that's to me, content, technology, you've got virtualization, you got video, you got virtual tours, you got Matterports, you got all kinds of solutions that you need to put in place. But don't forget the story behind it. Like why? The emotions of what is this offer going to do to you as an individual, to a family, right? And that needs to be wrapped up around that whole presentation. That's that part. The other part is the traffic. And so traffic-wise, us at SmartTouch, we have like our agency, SmartTouch Next Gen, which is our CRM and marketing automation, and we have SmartTouch Geo. And SmartTouch Geo has launched what I call a really nasty tactic, and it's called competitor conquest.
Okay.
And what it's about, right? Historically, geofencing has been about like, hey, you look at a location. Typically, model homes are money for disruption because, like, if we have a builder client or a condo developer client, and they identify these are the sales offices, these are the point of sales. We geofence anybody who walks in there, and then we start delivering ads to them in real time to their phone. And the concept is disruption because if I hit you and you leave the model, you get in your car, you look at the score of the bowl game that's coming up this season or the weather, and then you get an ad and it says it's right down the street. Why wouldn't I go shop it?
Yeah.
Right. So that's one concept. Same concept that we offer that's really disruptive that right now today is probably, like you asked me, like what are the things that are revolutionary, is the ID for advertisers. Have you heard of that? ID for advertisers. So every phone has a phone ID. And so like basically with the same geofencing technology, when you go to a model home or when you're going to the domain for the first time to go shop, what do? Google Maps. Boom.
Yep.
Okay. Now you got location services on, so Google knows where you're at. So therefore, we have access to the same database that Google has through our advertising platform to then capture all the phones that were at the domain, that were at the UT playoff game that's coming up next weekend, right? And then put our ad in front of them. So you can be really, really strategic. That's disruptive right now for us. Like, as we target churches, we target employers. And I call it nasty, but this is nastier. Competitor conquest. Competitor conquest is like, and this only works for trying to capture the audience of your competitors that are also spending money on Google.
Right.
Because this is through the Google platform. So through the Google platform, we have access, unique to SmartTouch, access to anyone who has been served or clicked an ad for one of your competitors in your town. So the domain in your town, in your market, if they are spending money on Google, anybody who clicked on that, which basically is a more qualified audience. You only click on ads for homes if you're shopping.
Right.
So then I get only the people that are clicking on ads in my market from your competitors.
That is.
And grab that as an audience, and then you upload that to Meta, which is the stickiest platform, Facebook and Instagram, and that's where you get it.
That is very cool. And that is something that I feel like, especially if it's, like you said, if you're struggling in that market and, you know, everybody's going to, let's take a home builder, right? Everyone's clicking Lennar, and you're DR Horton. I mean, that would be something you would probably want to do. Yeah. Look at your face. I love it. You're like, that's about right. Well, and that, I mean, that kind of
It's working. We right now we started doing it because this is new. I share with you that the nastier is new.
And that's what's giving all of your developers and real estate professionals the edge.
I'm getting clients that are referring their friends to us that are also in the business. That they're like, hey man, you got to try this. And so I'm a believer, but there's always more to come, right? That's
right.
What's this year? Like last year, everybody's talking about AI. Well, we had a sold out session at the International Builder Show. Our SEO expert, Eric Shatuk, sold it out with a panel. And it was all about like, what can you do? What is happening? What's happening in real estate? And guess what? The reality of the situation is, yeah, I can help you write some copy. Yeah, I can help you Google an answer better. But when it comes to like creating intelligence for an organization, you gotta start with standardizing the capturing of the information first. And that is a fundamental problem of most real estate companies, regardless of builder, developer, or brokerage, is enabling the standardization of the data and putting a mind at what the end result is going to be. So if I want the end result to generate these reports and give me this intelligence and end up doing that, I have to establish a system to capture that information. And that is where most real estate companies are broken. Remember, I told you we're about 20 years behind everybody else.
Yeah.
And so that thing, that was a buzz.
Yeah.
We spoke about it in February at the International Builder Show. And by mid-year, we're talking about freaking interest rates.
Yeah, I know.
So forget about AI and all that stuff. We're talking about interest rates and competing and like, you know, who's buying? Because people are still buying.
Yeah.
The guy that shows up at the model is still buying.
Still buying, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You got a need. When you got a need, you're going to buy. And you're going to forget about the interest rate.
Yeah.
You don't have to marry the interest rate.
Yeah, we always say date the rate, marry the home, right?
Right.
Well, like, can you give us an example of a success story with SmartTouch Interactive? Maybe something that you're like, I love to tell people this story because it's It's how our product worked from start to finish.
Well, when you refer to product, the definition is what we call all lines in. Mm-hmm. And that's the whole suite. It's the technology, it's the creative, it's the driving, and it's creative strategic placement of advertisement. I like to categorize those based on the client profile because, we work with new home builders. We also work with master plan community developers. And
like boutique too,
infill developers, as well as real estate companies.
Right.
But probably one of my proudest ones is Esperanza Homes. Mm-hmm. Their story. Esperanza Homes happens to be a top 50 builder in the United States. And they're based out of South Texas, McAllen, Texas.
Wow.
Largest operation down there. And so we met them sometime around 2013, 2014. We were introduced to them by our good friends at BDX, now Zonda, Livable. Mm-hmm. And they introduced us to them to provide the CRM. At the time, they had a master plan community that they had developed for 10 years. It was a dog, and they had only built 25 homes. And so we came in and enabled the online Zen program, the key performance indicators, enablement of being able to measure and hold ourselves and our salespeople accountable, utilizing the technology. And over the course of the consequenting, that was 2014, 2020, they went from 25 homes to 500 plus homes a year, best-selling master plan community, complete dominance of the Rio Grande Valley, enabled the entire program that we had set up, the cadence, the criteria of how to organize it, so well, so damn well, that they fired us.
Oh. And you're like,
they took over and they said, hell, you know your playbook.
Yeah.
We know your playbook and we know your fishing spots.
Yeah.
We know your fishing spots. Sorry, Robert. I love you very much.
Yeah.
And so they outgrew us.
Right.
And to me, that's a great story. I wish they would still be. But today, like Nick Rhodes, who's their CEO, Sean Samante, who's their VP of sales, they will go to bat for SmartTouch every day of the week.
Yeah.
Because it's a great story. We helped them get there. And I'm just so proud of them and their story and to have been part of the rise of what I believe will be a great Texas empire.
Empire, yeah. Well, and, it's like raising a child, right? You get them, you feed them, you help clothe them, you teach them all the things. And then they're like, bye, Mom and Dad. See you later. I'm going on my own. And it's kind of like a testament. You could probably look at it as like probably the highest form of affirmation, even though you're like, well, we're not working for them anymore. But that is so cool. That really is so cool. And that just kind of, that shows you that y'all can, like you said, you scale from huge master plan communities to developers, to real estate, to boutique. You can easily adjust your strategy for the type of client, which I think is really important because a lot of people, are worried if they go with a big company like yours, like, oh my goodness, they're not going to be able to, are we going to be able to afford, even though we're a small boutique company, and will they be able to, pivot their strategy on how to help us grow? But that's one of the beauties about you is that y'all can pivot from all different, you can scale basically, depending on your client.
Correct. Like we work with custom home builders. And if for a custom home builder, custom home builder that focuses on build on your lot, build on my lot, like build in that community's lot. Right. Then you got infill guys. You got infill guys that got an infill deal that's 10 lots, 6 lots, 100 lots. Then you got master plan communities in which you're going to be in a deal for 20. We right now are involved in probably 6 deals that are next 20 years. It's going to take 20 years to develop the whole thing. That's one deal, right? So our smallest client is a builder out of San Antonio, custom guy that does 8 homes a year. 8 homes a year, probably 20 million a year operation because he just does customs, right? And he just needs Google Ads and for us to help him with his website.
Yeah.
our largest clients are Hillwood Communities, Perot Company,
Yeah.
as well as Crown Communities, Crown Family out of Chicago.
Yeah.
Right, in which they have multiple master plan communities that are working with us as developers. They have bought into the online SIN concept, our level of transparency, our enablement of being able to optimize the best results by analyzing the data and optimizing the campaigns that way.
Right.
And then don't forget, again, the creative component, right? Like when you got tech and then you got creative all in the same shop, it just makes it really easy for the client. And like that is a trend that we're seeing today in the marketplace that works a little bit in our favor. Don't put yourself through that pain of managing 10 vendors. If you find the right company that has the right skill set, everything is blending in today when it comes to marketing. That's why the publishers are getting into marketing.
Yeah.
How the heck is Spectrum offering paid search social media advertising? Spectrum. Yeah. They're supposed to be offering streaming TV.
I know.
And cable. So it all begins to blend in. But in our industry, it does make a difference whether you are working for a builder, developer, or a broker. Like, we speak funny language, right? Like, and then we're also involved in an offer that's transactional,
right,
and emotional. So we're a little bit different, than most other offers. And so, if you are investing in marketing, you want to align yourself with a partner that's competent and knows your market.
Right, right. Well, and that kind of leads me to my next question is, I'm sure you pivot your strategy based on the market in Austin or the market in San Antonio, right? You pivot how you guys advertise just based on the community, right?
Yeah, I mean, we have clients in 37 states, 4 different countries, Canada, Panama, Mexico, and Puerto Rico. So, you've got to customize it. Everything is adapted to the target market, the audience, the offer. And then as well, you got what budget are we working with?
Right. Oh, of course. Well, I mean, what do you think are some of the biggest challenges that people face in like the real estate and development communities, and how do you guys address that? So when people come to you and they say, Robert, man, I'm really struggling with X, Y, and Z, how can y'all help me? What do you think what are the biggest things that people come to you and like, I need your help because of this? Sorry, did I open up a can of worms on that one?
That's a tough question. I mean, that's like, give me a magic wand to solve all your problems and run your business if you want me to come run your business. But all kidding aside, people come to SmartTouch when they are confronting challenges and driving demand for their offer, whether that's for sale, for rent, lots, homes, condos, whatever it is. They're having challenges, or they're about to get ready to go and they haven't done this before, whatever the case may be. Today, we get a good portion of our clients that have invested in marketing and got burnt. Right. They just went with someone who did not do what they said they were going to do. Or if they did so, the results were lackluster.
Right. Well, because I will say a lot of people in the beginning, when everybody was catching on to the SEO and all of this and all of the all the things that were coming out, a lot of the business owners knew nothing about it. So, of course, they're getting these, here are your results and whatnot, but they weren't really proving results because they didn't really understand it. So I also think there was a little bit of a lack of knowledge probably on a lot of the business owner's side, right?
Yeah, I mean, sales solves everything, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We've had 5 years. I mean, I'd say 2018, 2019 were very good years in real estate in the entire states.
Yeah.
So we rode a pretty good wave, but now that wave's over, now you start scrutinizing the numbers and the results and all of those things. So people will come to us to enable those kind of programs, to put transparency, to get results in place. And so part of them just have had those challenges. Others have not had the results that they want. And so really, that's why you come to a marketing company, is to get professional advice, just like you would go to any other professional. Like for us, it's like many days we feel like if we were a provider of health, a health provider, to be honest with you, because we feel like we're doctors. Like it's one after another, and it's every case. It's a different case. It's a different scenario. It's a different profile, but the recipe is the same. And what has made my company successful is the tenureship that I've had. I like to share with our clients that when you work with SmartTouch, you're working with a marketing orchestra. So I am the orchestra leader here in the veranda.
Yes.
Right? And then we have flute player, trumpet player, so SEO expert, creative director, account service expert, social media expert. So we have an expert at every position.
And they're all talking to each other.
So basically, you have an option. You can hire a company and basically get fractional experts that are the very best at their profession. And in the case of SmartTouch, it's a company that is just focused on this. This is all we do.
Right.
We talk builder. We got talk this every single day. Every single day, all we do is talk about new homes, new condos, land for sale, ranchers for sale, you name it. Here, there, Texas, Florida, North Carolina, and we transport ourselves to that. Right. So that's really what makes us special, is being able to do that. The alternative is you can go hire a jack of all trades. Right now, we get those cases quite a bit.
Right.
Because somebody all of a sudden is dependent on one individual, and that individual, God forbid, they fall ill or something happens to them, then what? Life goes on. And so you hire a company that has a team that has the orchestra with the experts behind it. Minimizes the risk, optimizes the best results.
The beauty about your company is that you have everyone in-house working together, talking to each other. So the people who are handling the marketing, the advertising, and then the technology side, the innovative side, everyone's working together, which makes probably a really nice workflow to where you hopefully minimize your results falling off by trying new things, right?
Yeah.
So that's the whole beauty about it, which is what you've said from the beginning. You are like a one-stop shop from beginning to end, which is why you've been so successful.
Well, we have clients that use the agency but use another software.
Right.
Right? But because our agency team knows the technology part, they know what the software can do.
Right.
And so the campaigns are designed to execute with somebody else's stuff.
Right.
And vice versa.
Yeah.
So we have clients that don't use the agency but use the software. And they get the benefit of leveraging our support staff that is used to executing world-class campaigns from our marketing agency.
Right.
So they get all the advice and guidance to execute on that as well. So it's kind of a win-win situation, whether you want to use this for everything or you want to use one or the other. That's
really, really nice. Well, you seem so passionate about your company. What do you think is, as a founder of SmartTouch Interactive, what's been the most rewarding part of this whole journey for you? Because I love how much you get into how you can help people drive business, drive success. So, what do you think is probably the most rewarding aspect of this since you founded SmartTouch Interactive?
In this town, Austin, Texas, we are a top 100 tech employer, top 20 minority-owned business, top 20 agency, 5 years in a row, 15 years in business. I have employees that have been with me. I have 4 employees that have been with me for 10 years. I have probably another 8 that have been with us for 5+ years. And we call it Verde, just like Austin Football Club.
Yeah.
Los Verdes. And so that's us. That's the tradition. We have a great culture. We have something good going on. We have a lot of passion to help the American dream of home ownership make it reality. Right. And so we're part of it. We're part of that we're part of that goal.
Right.
We help connect that buyer with that builder or developer
Right.
to make that American dream of
Right.
homeownership reality.
That's awesome. Well, I think if we could close it out with this. What do you think would be your advice that you would give to real estate professionals that want to elevate their marketing game? What do you think would be your best piece of advice?
You gotta segment that question because, I have different answers for agents, and you guys
Right.
are Engels and Volkers, and that's a whole different category and ballgame for us. Like when we work with companies like yours is typically working for the developer services,
Right.
and not necessarily with the transactional or
Right.
listing services, etc. So just
If someone wants to elevate their marketing game in this space, what do you think would be the best thing for them to do? Would it be,
everything starts with a search.
Yeah.
Everything starts with a search. So get your Google My Business page, optimize the heck out of it, like register and fill out every single question that Google My Business page has. We offer, but there's other services out there. I'm just not promoting SmartTouch, but there's other services out there that can optimize it. And the optimization is really like registering with all these directory websites, Apple Maps, Google Maps, that kind of stuff. And then you put the keywords that you want to be found.
Right.
And in most locations, most people don't know that.
Right.
And
Yeah.
therefore, boom, that's an immediate hit. Bam. And then, if you got a website, it depends on what your long-term game is, because website is long-term. Short-term is landing pages, and short-term is pay-per-click.
Right.
So I always put the emphasis on any client that comes with us. Everything starts with a search. The best leads are the people that are looking for you. We got other tactics to disrupt, to fill that funnel, because we can't just get the funnel. We got to disrupt as well to get what we need to get the absorption that is required by most real estate projects. So, yeah.
I love that. Well, Robert, you have been such a pleasure to talk to today. And just to kind of see where you came from, like you said, you really have epitomized the American dream. You started SmartTouch Interactive, and now you've become, like you said, this powerhouse of helping, developers, real estate professionals. And I'm so glad you came on today to kind of tell us about your company and what you can do. And I'm excited to kind of see where you guys go from here, because it seems like you're constantly innovating. So thank you so much for being with us today. It was a pleasure.
And I really appreciate the invitation and being here. Thank you so much.
Of course. And that's all we got for you today. Thanks for listening.